On the second line, you see the second line down there. It says vowels only. Don't write the vowels. But directly under each of your vowels, bring down the number for that vowel. But directly under the vowel, so it's easy to check what you're doing. And Y is a vowel when it sounds like E, but not when it sounds like Y. Actually, you see, when I said not to sort them, not to do it, that was before I realized there was something missing. It did make a difference. I know. And then under the long consonants, bring down just the numbers directly under all the consonants. Makes sense, right? This is the easy way to do it. We don't want you having a difficult one. Okay? These are all together sorted. Now then, you're going to do one more thing after you do that. Count the number of letters in your name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There is down at the bottom, I didn't write this one. Over on the left, right in the middle of the thing, it says vocational number, right? Right down here, the number of letters, in my case it would be 13. And you're going to write it two ways. You're going to write it first way back. And then eventually, and it's very important for you to write it this way so you have the actual number of letters. After you've done that, go and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Obviously, all of the vowels and consonants have been included. That's the first thing you use it to check. You'll use it to check a number of things, okay? Then, because you're going to do it the long way, we'll have you do it the long way first, and then I will show you the short way of doing it. You notice that I made two lines here. Leave that last line to the right on all of these until you've reduced a number. You are going to add together all of the numbers and come up with a number. In my case, the number I first came up with, and I tend to write it over here. In this part, the number that I came up with was 61. And that one reduces to, you add those numbers together, and you get 7. Okay? That's how it works. And your 28 will reduce to 10, which is 1. Every 1 comes from a 10. You can't get 1 any other way except through having a 10. You can get 2 from 20 or from 11. So not all 2s are the same, but every 1 is a 10. Every 10 is a 1.
Where did you get the life path number?
Oh, yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Don't worry about all this.
I thought I missed something.
No.
Okay.
First I had to do that. Then you add all of the numbers for the vowels. And again, you put your number here to start with. The large number you get when you add them together. mine were 14. It doesn't equal, that's why I put an arrow. It becomes a 5. I'm a mathematician in me, I can't use an equal, even though a lot of numerologists say equal. And then all of my consonants equal 47. And 47 becomes 11, which is also a 2. You want to show whether your 2, if your 2 is an 11. If it was a 20, you just write the 2. When you get into more complicated numerology, you want to know the teams and other things that become other numbers. In basic numerology, 1 through 9, 11, 22, and 33 are the only ones you notice along the way. Okay? Now, having done this, I want you to do something else. I want you to check and make sure that this number plus this number equals this number. If it doesn't, you've got a mistake somewhere. Or more simply, make sure that this number plus this number equals that number. Okay? Do you understand? If you have a question, if there's something you don't understand, please ask. There's one more thing I have to write. Yes. Because you're not used to math, and you don't do it fast. And this is a long class, unfortunately. You, like I did there, you show that it's an 11, but it is a 2. Okay? Every 10 is a 1, so you don't bother showing the 10 for a 1. If you have a 22, if you have a 4 that came from a 22, you show that. If you have a 6 that came from a 33, you show that. As I said, when you get into it, further into it, you'll find that you also show all of your teams, and you can go into all these other things that make things up. The papers I've given you, don't mention them, so we're not going to do them. Okay? Well, so this is almost 9 course. Got it all done? No.
That's all right.
You got a long name?
24 numbers.
Okay.
I've got 20.
What's smaller is a killer. What's smaller?
Tell you what, you can do the long one in a minute, but I'm going to show you the quick way to do yours. Now, when you're doing your friends, you do it the quick way because you don't care whether they have the 11s or the 22s or things like that. Okay? Give me just the numbers for your name. All of them.
4, 1, 9,
Wait,
7,
1, 9. Go on.
7, 5, 3, 9, 8, 1, 2, 5, 2, 8, 5, 9, 11. I mean, one
That's
line.
11's the same thing, I don't care.
4, 3, 5, 3, 3, 5, 9.
In numerology, you can cancel every 9 you have. That's out. That 5 plus 4 is out. That 3 plus 3 plus 3 is out. That 9 is out. That 8 plus a 1 is out. This 5 plus 2 plus 2 is out. This 8 plus 1 is out. This 9 is out. This 9 is out. This 5 plus 4 is out. And is there another 5 somewhere down here that I didn't get? 5. This 5 plus 3 plus 1 is out. So what we have is 7, 1, 5, which is 13, and that's 4. and your number is 4. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You all understand what I just did?
Yep.
You want me to do it with your number so you can see how it works? Just to check it. We're in base 10, which means there are 9 numbers in the system. Therefore, you cancel every 9. For instance, if you have 9 plus 5 is 14. And 14 adds up to 5.
And that get screwed up though with the 11? Because
I said you won't see the 11s that way, but if you're doing it for a bunch of people at work or something, it doesn't matter whether you get the
But you
11s.
made it 2 ones. You didn't make it an 11.
Huh?
You made it 2 ones.
Doesn't matter. 2
Doesn't
1.
matter.
Doesn't. 11 and 1 1 is the same thing. It just doesn't matter. Because you don't add 11 to something. You add the 1 and the 1. I mean, if she wants to read her number to me as 41, 97, 53, same thing. You write down the numbers, okay? Actually, she was reading 1 1 when she gave me 11. She wasn't reading the 4. But this one doesn't give you, you won't see when you come down and reduce it to 11 this way. Because if you get 11 this way, it might not be a true 11. You have to actually add all the numbers and come down to 11 to get an 11. Okay? Anybody got any questions here? So now you all know the quick way of doing it. Well, we want you to do yours without the shorthand. Is it not working?
What were the add-ups that we're supposed to add up at the end? Was it like this and this supposed to equal that?
Uh-huh.
It doesn't. So I made it.
Why not? 9 plus 2 is, oh, you've got a 2 there. Yeah, fine.
I got to the 4.
Aha. No way. 8 and 5 is 13. Skip the 9. 14. 19. Skip the 9. That's 1 plus 9 is 1. Plus 3 plus 5 is 9. So you should have a 5 here. You should have a 5 here. So your number was probably 50. Okay, instead of 49. And let me check the other numbers. Just go ahead. 4, 7, 15, 17, 19 is 1, and 8 is 9. Plus is 5, 9, 2, 6, 8, 9. So that 8 is right. So it's 8 plus 5, and that would be 13, which is a 4. So that was where your error was. That's good. Everybody else's numbers add up right? Okay. Then, this one, let's see. Let me talk about these and explain what they are. It says it on your sheet. It's right under it, so it tells you what they are, so you really shouldn't have any trouble. What we will say, your birth name gives you your potentials and your natural abilities. Your birth date, and you write it numerically. The month, the day, and the year, and you've got to put in the whole year. You cannot just put in the last 2 numbers. You have to put in the whole thing, okay? Then you take the day and you put it here. And then you take the first name, which is this line down here, so let's find out what that one is. I put them down here to try and get everything on one piece of paper. It wasn't all done in the order in which you would most often do it. Whoops, did it wrong. This is the first name line. Don't mean to confuse you. You have that backwards. Okay. Do I have it backwards? Well, whichever way. First name was there. All right. I think. No, life path I had in first. Oh, okay. It was a more important number. Plus. Now, this line that's down here, the one right under consonants, it says life path plus expression plus soul drive plus key, which means it is all of these numbers that have a percentage. This one, this one, this one, this one. Your birth date is your life path number. In astrology or numerology, it doesn't matter, it's the most important. It's the most important element of both astrology and numerology, your birthday. Your name is secondary to that. And your full birth name, because the life path gives 40% of what you are. Your birth name contributes 30%. The vowels contribute 20%. And this key number, which is derived from the birth date plus the first name number, gives 10% of what you are, contributes that percentage. Now you may notice the consonants don't contribute anything to who you basically are. And that's what's fascinating. Okay? Right here, your birth name tells you your potentials and your natural ability. Your birth date gave you your karmic lesson. By the way, your destiny or the way you express yourself is through your birth name. Okay? Your destiny is through your birth date in numerology. The soul drive, which is your inner desire, your heart's desire, that is from your vowels. Okay? But the consonants do not contribute to what you basically are. What the consonants tell you is how others will see you, not what you necessarily are. Now, what you are may be the same as how others see you. For some people it is, and for some people it isn't. But the whole thing here is what the consonants contribute is sort of the illusion of you, which may or may not match the reality of you. When you speak, if you ever worked with the deaf or hard of hearing, you would understand that the consonants contribute almost all of your speech. Ah, oh, the consonants only give the color to them. Things like that, okay? They don't contribute as much to the sound or to the name. And that's why the consonants are called the personality number and are how others will see you. Then when you add these four, the life path, the soul drive, the expression number, and the key number. And you add those together. There are two ways of adding. You can go back to the original large numbers, or you can just use the smaller numbers. Usually it is just using the small numbers. So this would be 7, 7, 5, and 1. Okay? And that would be a 2 here. If I had actually added this up by adding all of these numbers, that 2 would also have been derived from an 11. Okay? I didn't do it. I did it the quick way. All right? Any questions so far? Good. Now you can go draw on the board, if you will.
Okay, which one would you like me to draw?
Well, first I'm going to tell you ones I didn't have you fill in, okay? These numbers right here. The life path plus expression number, which is the mature development number. It's called the mature development number because you don't use it at birth. You don't use it until you become mature. At that point, it contributes the energy of that number to who you are. Okay? The one under it is the age now plus the age next year reduced to a number, and that's going to change. I'm 70 this year, I'll be 71 next year. That's 15 plus 6. Next year, I'll be 71, the following year, 72. And that's a totally different number. It'll be 2 higher. When there's a 0 in, it's only 1 higher, and we'll come up with the other numbers are 2 higher, okay? So I'll be an 8 next year, and on my birthday. At least that energy will come into my life, all right? And that's what's telling you. And then the life path direction number. And that's your birth sign plus your life path number. Do you know the number of your birth sign? When you get the astrology thing, it will tell you. Can you draw the symbols, or do you know?
No, I haven't.
All right, I'll do it.
You can just ask them and tell them.
Now, I'll show it so they can copy it. This is a thing you probably want to do, okay?
Which one do you want me to draw? I think you must have the wax. So you want the pentacles?
Go draw here. Just take mine. Go in. But you'll need a couple more lines. I'll have to put 2 lines out, a line or 2 around that.
Out of the pentacle? Or out of the lion?
It's done that way. It's also done. Oh, I didn't show you the other way. Sorry about that.
It's for later. What do you want, the wax? The table. Oh, okay.
Well, sorry. I put the box there.
I
I
assume because my birthday's.
I didn't finish it. Here. What are you doing?
What table are you talking? Are you talking? And I just assumed. You said you left a couple. Okay, it didn't make sense, Jerry, when you said you left a couple. Well, I was asking.
Here from today, I would still be.
This part.
It changes on the 19th of August. Yeah.
By the way, that symbol for Capricorn is because it's a large G. Because Capricorn is a sea goat. And that's why it's such a... Of all the symbols, I just don't think it's the prettiest. Alright. Aries is 1. Taurus is 2. Gemini is 3. Cancer is 4. Leo is 5. Virgo is 6. Libra is 7, Scorpio is 8, Sagittarius is 9, Capricorn is 10 or 1, Aquarius is 11 or 2, and Pisces is 12 or 3. But when you're doing this particular, you generally use the larger, the 12, the 11, or the 10, okay?
Okay.
You okay, Doug? Huh?
You went through them so fast that I don't know your symbols.
Write the symbols,
So no.
if you can. All right, Aries is 1.
Ours.
Taurus is 2. Gemini is 3. Cancer is 4. Leo is 5. Virgo is 6. Libra is 7. Scorpio is 8. Didn't get a word. Sagittarius is 9. Capricorn is 10. Aquarius is 11. And Pisces is 12. I never even put the numbers on the first name. Write them if you want. Now, okay, you got all that? Just copy 15997. Yeah, let me have my paper. You can keep this. I need this. Oh, did you fill in? Yeah, you filled it. Great, very good. All right, let's say that she's born in 63, so fill in the dates, 63 on all those sides, okay? Fill in the years, 63, 64, 65.
Oh, okay.
Okay? All right. Now you see this table called lack? Now what you are going to do is go back to your birth name. You can either count the consonants and the vowels, which is easier to do sometimes than actually doing it up on the first line where there's not as much space. But you want to get the total number of ones that are in your birth name. And you write that right over on the right in that column, okay? And if there are none, you either draw a line or write 0. Then you want the number of 2s that are in your birth name.
Why does it have a little 1 in parentheses?
I'll get you that in a minute, okay? Then you want the number of 3s, then the number of 4s, then the number of 5s, then the number of 6s, the number of 7s, the number of 8s, and the number of 9s. And when you get all that done, add that up, and that should equal your vocation number again. If it doesn't, you haven't counted right. Again, a vocation number simply becomes a very good place for checking things. Okay.
Where did we write the number of ones in our name and stuff? What part of the...
In this little box. It looks like this box right here. Okay? By the way, your vocation number reduced is also a number that applies and is the thing that's probably the easiest for you to be or applies to the way you work, the work you work in. But the energy of your vocation number is specific to your work. There's an energy that comes into that. Whatever your choice. You got those all? And they all add up to the location number, right?
Except for Nick, I think.
Yeah. Yes. 28.
Okay, you got 28 letters in your name.
28.
Worse than me.
Another one. Okay. Now then, you asked about the numbers. Have you got yours, Paul? Oh, wait. Take a couple minutes. All of this, most of this, you'll get in almost every numerology book.
So if I was doing math, she's had 2 birth certificates. Which one do I use?
Which is the real one? Which one is she actually born with?
The original one?
Yes. However, there's something else you will do with the other one. Is the name different on the second one?
The last one.
At that point, was it the same year?
No, 2 years later.
All right, then at the year in which that was added, you will start adding back on the chart that we're going to do over here. You will never take away her birth name because that was there, but you will add that other name at that point. Okay?
That's kind of funny because when I asked her how she wanted her name on her 8th grade graduation certificate, it's the first time somebody asked her. She asked to have both.
Okay. Well, that's the whole thing. You never take away the first. You can only add the others, okay? But it's not in the numerology. The actual birth certificate name is the one that goes to the basic numerology. And then this other, it shows you where you add the names. Married name, This table of black, the normal number of ones in the name is 3. The normal number of 2s that you will find in the average name in this country is 1. You will generally find 1 to 2 3s. You will usually find 1 4, 3 to 5 5. 3 is because the letter E is a 5. You will usually find 1 to 2 6s, 0 to 1 7s, 1 8, and 3 9.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Oh, he's got a heck of a lot of energy from 1, okay? Now, the reason they call it a table of lack is, for instance, in mine, I have a lack of 2s, okay? But over there, I've got 2 2s among those numbers over on the right, so I bring the energy of the 2 into my life that way. But it also shows I have a lack of 6s. So I have to find some way to bring the energy of 6 into my life. And you can do it through your phone number, through a nickname, through a married name, all kinds of ways that you can bring in the numbers that are missing. But when you have a number that is missing, you generally want to find some way to bring that energy into your life. As I said, if you bring it in through your life path, key, expression, soul drive, personality, core challenge, growth, mature development. Okay? Or your life path direction numbers, then you brought it in. Otherwise, you want to find a way to bring it in. Okay?
And say, don't go holding and laying and moaning over there. I haven't checked out any of the baby books.
Does anybody want to take a brief break? Oh, no, I've got one more thing to do. With the lack table, there are numbers that they had to the left of on your thing. I simply wrote them up above there. Okay? You want to do this one?
Oh, okay.
Your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your motivational numbers.
Okay.
Your mental number is the number of 3s plus the number of 9s. The emotional number is the number of 2s plus 6s plus 7. The physical, obviously 4s plus 5s, and motivational 1s plus 8. For me, that balance is very accurate. The mental, the motivational are 2 of the strongest ones in my chart. That's what I use more than anything else. I use the physical very little. I've got a thyroid that doesn't work. I have narcolepsy. Forget the physical. It's there, but I don't use it much. And the emotional, certainly in a mature state, I'm not running. I am very caring, but I'm not very emotional. I'm not run on emotion. And yet, in handwriting, I'm way over on the sensitive side. But it's not the same thing. It's the compassion rather than the passion. Okay? Now, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is to find out what the meaning of 5, 1, 2 are. And to find out that these are the energies that I bring into those areas of my life. Now, the meaning of numbers is what all these other papers are about. Okay? You're going to have to draw the other little chart.
I was going to put it right there.
Right, that's fine, that's good. Don't bother with the arrows, just... Now you've got this little diamond-shaped thing over the right. That's what you do not find in most of your numerology books. It's very important. A few of them mention it. It, to me, is one of the most interesting numbers in all of numerology. Because numerology says childhood is not until you're 18. or until you're 16 or something like that. Instead, you have to look up at your life path number. I told you that that's the most important number to contribute so much. It's a part of this. Remember, life path is the birth date, the number right up here. Okay? And as it says, right here, the very first number is from birth, 0, to the number 36 minus your life path. In my case, my life path being 7, is I will have to take 7 from 36, and I'll get 29. So the first segment of my life is 29 years. It can be from 27 years to 35 years. That is your childhood. And that's very interesting. It is during that time that you are becoming whoever you were. In other words, you are regaining, you're not becoming the personality, but you are regaining all of the sensitivity, the growth that you had in a past life. You do not necessarily have the same talents in this life, but you will take your childhood to become and reacquire all the lessons you've already learned. And these will be learned fairly easily. There are quite a few of them. During this time you may do things to help other people, but you will be very much focusing on regaining your own ground or the karma of who you were. Okay? Does that make sense? What is your span? From birth to what? 32. Okay. And how old are you now? 26. So you see you're still working on it. So you're still becoming. You haven't reacquired all of the things you already are. Not in this brain, not in this finite brain, and in the awareness of being able to fully use them. And yours, Nick?
How'd you get that number?
Your life path subtracted from 36. What's your life path, that top
It's a
number?
9.
Okay.
27.
So at the age of 27, you had reacquired all that you were, and you are now building on it. That you re-brought into who you are, all the things you have learned in your past lives. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. She's still becoming who she can be. You are fully who you are, and then you simply build on that and do more things, but you are. I am what I am. Does this make sense to you? I mean, I find this number fascinating. And one of the things that is it's definitely about the idea of reincarnation. It is the only place that I see this that shows that this is what life is about. Life is about reacquiring who you are, and that growth really isn't just some arbitrary number. It is unique for each of us. Now, don't go right into the other numbers, only the middle three. Right in the middle three. Now, what I want you to do, you see that little chart? I want you to write, reduce to a single digit. Your birthday, your birth month, and your birth year.
Yes.
Now remember, you can cancel the 9 year. So it's going to be 1 plus the last 2 digits. You were all born in 1900 something. So on your birth year, okay? These are your pinnacles and challenges, and these are fascinating to me.
I didn't become a teacher. Dust.
Oh, you've got a 2 to get rid of.
Oh, thank you.
She writes nice numbers, they're easy to read. Better numbers than me, actually.
Huh?
Better numbers than I do. Now, so my numbers across there are 2, 6, and 8. Okay? Whatever yours are. You're going to reduce to a single digit your things. The first 2 numbers you add together and you get the number up above them. 2 plus 6 is 8. And that gives you your first pinnacle. Actually, it's better to write second over on the right when you've got a big board to do it.
That one?
Yes. The second, when you add the second two numbers together, reduce it to a single digit. In mine is 6 plus 8, which is 14, which is reduces to a 5. Okay? That's your second pinnacle. Your third pinnacle is that 8 plus the 5, or the first two pinnacles added together to give you the third pinnacle, which is 13, or, right.
That's always the part that's confusing.
8 plus 5 is 13, which is a 4. Okay? And your last, or fourth pinnacle, go back to the first two numbers you had on the outside, the month and the year, or that 2 plus the 8. See, you drew the lines in. This is the whole thing. When I was teaching it, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Instead what I would do when I was teaching it would be, I show you that this plus this and this are going to this.
Okay.
That this plus this are going to that. And that this plus this are going to that. And that this plus this comes together to this.
Ah, okay.
Okay, I've shown these little lines are drawn in, but that's actually what's going on. Okay, you understand all that? Now the challenges are just the opposite. What we want you to put in is the difference between numbers. There's no negative here because we just want to know the difference between the numbers. Whichever is the larger one, you subtract the smaller one from it. 2 from 6 is 4. 6 from 8 is 2 in my case. Then 2 from 4 is 2. And then going back to the outside, 2 from 8 is 6. This is one of the two places in numerology where you can come up with a 0. Okay? Pinnacles give you a kind of energy that for a certain period in your life will assist you, lift you, be helpful to you in a easy, positive way. The challenges are about an energy that will challenge you or push you, sometimes not quite as easily. All right? You understand the difference between a pinnacle and a challenge? During each segment of your life, you will have a pinnacle and a challenge. Sometimes it's the same. If you have a 0 in the challenges, it means during that period of your life, however long it may be, you can choose what will challenge you, but I guarantee you will be challenged. Okay? Now, we started out telling you how to get the first pinnacle. The first pinnacle is from birth, and on the new form, it's written right. On that old form, the description of how you get the pinnacle isn't as good. The form is okay, but the writing on the actual form. That's why I gave you the old one. It's not as good a form.
I have 2 new ones. You should have 2 new ones.
You should have 2 new ones.
Not really, just a little.
That shouldn't have been possible. She put them all
I
out.
put them all from the same one. I put that on.
Okay, I don't know how you got 2 different ones, but okay.
I think I can.
Leave it to us.
Grabbed it from someplace else?
I don't know.
I had some of the others
This is
here.
the one from last year.
Right, that's probably from
that's
last
from
year.
last
Okay,
year.
that's one from last year. Okay. Anyway, the whole thing is, the first pinnacle is from birth until that number derived by subtracting your life path from 36. The second pinnacle is from that age until 9 years plus that age. Your life path was 28?
Yeah.
All right, so that's from birth to 28? From birth to 28. The next one will be from the age of 28 to the age of 37. The next one will be from 37 to 46. And the last one will be from 46 until death. There is no 9 on the fourth pinnacle. You don't add 9. It is from that point, from the end of the third pinnacle till your death. Okay?
Sorry, Miss Pascal. 46.
You understand? I don't know if you find it as interesting as I do, but I do find it fits in with certain teachings of the ancient Egyptians that most things don't.
That was a big year for me, 46.
Okay? Now, if you want to take a short break, we will come back and we will do that. And then we will talk actually about some of these other things. Meanings of numbers. This one that has up at the top personal year, these are the numbers as they apply to your personal year. And then you have another page that just says numbers. Those numbers apply to almost everything. You have one that up here tells you about your personal year, your personal day and all. And in the middle of your form, there's a little place that shows you how to derive that also. Right down here below vocation, on the new form, your personal year is your birthday, your birth month, and this year. Not the birth year, but your birthday, your birth month added to this year. Okay? And your personal month, you will then add to that number the personal year number. So you always have your birthday and your birth month, but you add to it one or more numbers, and your personal day will be your birth month plus your birthday plus this year plus this month plus this day. Okay?
For personal month, are we supposed to add this month? Or
You add this month to the personal year. So you're adding your birthday, your birth month, this year, and this month for a personal month. And for a personal day, you're adding your birthday, your birth month, this year, this month, and this day.
so personal month is equal to this month plus your personal year. And personal year is the first thing.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And the personal day is your personal month.
Okay.
So you always have your birthday and your birth month in here. And then if it's the year, you add the year. If it's the month, you add the month and the year. If it's now here. If it's the day, you use the day, the month, and the year right now. I have no idea why. I have no idea how sensible this is. Certainly is not as sensible to me.
So what's the house number?
That's the number of your house. And the numbers that appear under the one that says house number apply to your dwelling, apply to the energy of the place you live. If you live in an apartment, frequently you only add the number of your apartment. But some people add the street address plus the apartment. You do not generally use the name or number of the street. You generally just use the number on your house. And if there's an apartment, the number of the letter that goes with it. Your phone number, look at it both ways. Just the final 4, then the final 7, and then all 10. Look and see what is the energy of, but the thing is your own personal energy is much more the last 4 digits. You're sharing the energy of your, can't remember the word for it. The first 3 numbers of your phone number, not the area code, the other 3. Prefix, yes, called prefix, yeah. Just couldn't remember one company name for it. Because you share the prefix with a large neighborhood, it is frequently that numerologists only look at the last four numbers. But I think you should look at it both ways. You ought to also add your area code. And then we got 3 ways. Because you're getting all 3 energies. You personally are getting one specific energy, but as a part of a community, you're getting another energy. As a part of a larger community, you're getting another energy. Okay? Expansive field. Your personal field has the number of the last 4 digits. Okay. So that's how we use numbers in there. Then we get to the page that looks like this. Now this is simply the chart that's up at the top of your form. Okay? And this is very interesting. There are 3 phases of any number value. A is the best path, the most constructive. B tends to be a more drifting or negative. And C can be a more destructive use of the energy of that number. Okay? So number 1 is man alone in the world. In the worst way of using it, it's like tyranny, antagonism, aggressiveness. In a very positive way, it's creativity, originality, independence. You can read what all these numbers mean. This breaks down the meaning of numbers and shows you how the same energy can be used or misused. Okay? Make sense? After you go through that, then you get over to a thing that starts talking, and this one talks about the 11 and the 22 number and the special things that they imbue. Then all of your odd numbers tend toward inspiration in the artistic, whereas your even numbers tend to create in form rather than mentally or spiritually. Okay? Now this one is interesting because right after it, it breaks down, number 1, into the A, the J, and the S. It breaks down each number into the individual energy of an individual letter. So, Nick, you have how many 11s?
Ones?
Yeah, how many ones?
10.
What numbers comprise those ones?
For what letter?
What letters? I'm sorry. What letters? You have any J's?
No.
So you see, all of your ones are A and S ones. So you're being brought, the 2 here, for 1, for the A and the S, are the ones you would look at because that's the specific one energy that you get. Okay? I'm sure you didn't have J's. It's been a while. The same thing they do for that page and a couple more about all of the letters in the alphabet. And then at the very bottom, after the 9, it tells you other attributes, and it shows you the letters that tend to bring an energy into these different aspects of life, different events or whatever. After that, you find out how to do what we just taught you to do today, okay? Then it tells you how to fill in the pinnacles and all of that. And then there is interpretive qualities to apply to the pinnacles and challenges, okay? This tells you more specifically the energy of the pinnacles and challenges, or how they are focused, all right? Make sense? I'm not going to have you go through them, just understand. Then, there's a number that's all written in, and the reason it's written in is it was somebody else's work, which is very interesting. By the way, for me, living in Missouri gives me a 6. I just thought it was interesting. That's the note on the bottom of the thing. It was a number missing from mine. So, living in Missouri is very helpful to me. Kansas wouldn't be nearly as helpful.
So I should stay in Missouri. Because I don't have any 6s.
Neither do I. But this one that's all written in applies to the astrological signs and which numbers relate to them and the energy you get that way. So it's another way of seeing the lessons. Then, karmic lessons, there are different things. The numbers omitted from your name, and it goes into that. And again, this is not a permanent thing, this is a moving thing. Now this is the one I want to show you because this page is missing for most of you. Okay, birthdays, birthdays, birthdays. You don't have the page that says birthdays, birthdays, birthdays. It looks like this. I'm going to bring it to you next week, okay? Well, I want to know your birthday. What's the date? Not the month, not the year, just the 27. So you have 27, you could all look that up. You are a natural leader, subtly forceful, although somewhat erratic. Abstract thought and philosophy are your forte. You resent having to account for your every move, but you are ardent in your family affections. You know what I mean? See, that one's one of the ones happening here. Let your intuition be your guide. You are intellectual, analytic, and sensitive, and should never take advice against your own good judgment. Specialize, get a good education, and learn to enjoy your own company. Be patient, don't gamble, and let things come to you. Mary? Thank you. You are the composite of all the numbers 1 through 9. You feel responsible in all areas. Inwardly unconventional, you are aware of public image. Be a leader, prepared to adapt to the needs of others and aim high. Tobias?
5.
Again, which is one of the missing ones. You love new experiences and learn from them. Versatile, clever, and adventurous, you do not like to have a dull moment. Freedom to travel, good company, and the unusual are essential to your happiness.
25.
Appearing aloof with your head in the clouds, you are not always understood. Artistically talented, naturally intuitive, and idealistic, you should work against laziness, melancholy, and scattering yourself. You are very mental and may be criticized for not caring about everyday affairs. Linda?
28.
You are unconventional, love your freedom, and are executive by nature. Do not give in to pressure to conform. You are a trendsetter. Avoid oversensitivity and laziness through daydreaming, or your ambitions will suffer. And since you've all heard yours already, you might not even know what it says. Generous, demonstrative, home-loving is the protected 15th. You may learn quickly, be musical, and have a need to serve others. In spite of being dominating in your opinions, you still attract people and opportunities. Okay? So that's the birthdays. There were a couple places. The major cycles, and I did want to show you this. Your life is divided into 3 cycles of approximately 27 years. The first is represented by your birth month, the second by your birthday, and the third by your birth year. The number of each cycle reveals the people, influences, and environment which will be most important to you during that cycle. The first cycle provides the framework, the early environment, the most important opportunities for growth, development, and education, as well as important early personal relationships. In this cycle, you are less defined and specific in regard to your place in society. In the second cycle, it represents what is for most individuals the most productive period of life. The time when formal education has been completed. The number of this cycle represents the important influences which will determine not only the career, but also the adult social artistic consciousness of the individual. This new cycle can cause a complete change in direction or occupation. And the third cycle, known as the platform, represents the final period of life, when direction has been found, responsibility assumed, and the individual is contributing to the world around him. It is in this cycle that each of us reaps the benefits from the growth of the first 2 years. One of the great tragedies is our society in which, as others have said, and I quote, most people die before they're 30, they just don't get buried until they're in their 60s. Fear, more than anything else, is the cause of it, which is being generated to control. Maybe they hear that. Now, these, which were mimeographed years ago, talk about the numbers as they apply to these cycles in your life, okay? And they are specific to the cycle. And then at the end we have this set, which is a very basic, what the numbers mean in numerology, okay? And it goes into each number and tells you about it. Tells you about how it applies to different aspects of your life, okay?
It doesn't give a, for the year, because these next year, birth month number, birthday number, kind of refer back
There
to.
should be a life cycle for 3. You don't have a, is it just, it's missing in everybody's? On the life cycle, on your set, do you have a 5 cycle 3?
This one.
No, you've got a second thing that has to be done.
I imagine that paper's completely missing. We'll
Can
probably
you
back
read
it
it
up.
to us? What is this for? Is that number?
Sure, what number?
7. Oh, do you
I
have
have mine
one?
from last year if you want to look at it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
No, it's all right.
7.
No, that's not the page he's looking at, is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's okay. What's your 3rd cycle? What's your 1st year? The number for your 1st year? I don't think you're there yet, but
Oh, four.
indicates that you will continue working either by necessity or choice. There will be no retirement or life of ease for you.
What? Are you reading your birth year?
Yes.
That's different. For number 4?
Well, let's see what.
Oh, no, that's right. Sorry.
And your number 7 indicates a period of retirement without much social life, a time for study at home and acquisition of knowledge.
Can be a lonely time.
Yeah, it says it can be a long time. Doesn't say it will be. That really depends on the solar age more than anything, something like that.
We use solar age tonight, don't have to be here.
I can't begin to go into it. Then. If you want to come out, I'll do it. I'll share it with you out in Belton sometime, okay?
Okay.
Because it is really a very complicated one.
Okay.
My number is 8, which brings the possibility of wealth, power, and success, especially in the business world. You remember me? Indicates a period of self-expression through art, music, or writing. Creativity will flourish. Did we get your number? Yeah. You may be the most pleasant of times. If you have learned how to handle responsibilities, if not, you'll have many domestic burdens. And I didn't get you.
2.
A period of warm love and close friends. You will have the urge to collect things such as stamps, coins, or antiques. And even animals, depending upon your nature. Okay? Now, I got to go back to this long thing over here, which Linda is doing for us, okay?
Done as much of it, I think, as
All
I
right.
can at the moment.
Please notice, we had her write in the letter. It's very interesting. We gave a name that's easy to show you, all right? You are going to write in that first open space up above the 0, the year in which you were born. The next space is the next year, and the next year, and the next year. You go on. And you'll notice that on your chart you have 2 lines here. Well, this simply picks up where this ends because the paper wasn't this long, okay? This is a continuation of this. But we'll bring you all that at this page. So when you remember, see, the second number that's already printed in, that's your age. So in that year, you'll be that age, basically, okay? For a baby born in this century, you don't start with a 19-something, you start with a 20-something. Everybody, most people in this class all have 19 as their first number, so that's printed on the
Well, it's gonna be a while before we get around to that.
So you understand, right here, look, whatever your number is, whatever the year is right here, Nick, this is the next year.
Yeah.
Okay, you got that.
Yeah.
So the first two numbers in here are purely reference numbers, so you can look a thing up by a year or by your age. And that's what it's all about. Now the other numbers are the things that are going to give you different kinds of energy. The bottom line, notice here it says LP in little letters. Guess why? Guess what that is? It's your life path number. The first one is your life path number. Now, this is your personal year number, but your life path is the number for the year of your birth. So you write that number in here. If this is a 7, the next one's going to be an 8. The one after that's going to be a 9. After you get to 9, the next number is 1. And you go 1 through 9, and then you start over again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you understand what I just said? Right. So when you get to 9, instead of writing 10 after that, you go back and you start writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 again. So you want to fill in that line? Put those numbers, please.
I didn't fill
Just the bottom line,
in.
personal year.
Start with a life path number, any life path number you want. We don't care.
But it should be your birthday, right?
Yes, but I'm going to talk about for her. Just pick a 7. Put in a 7.
Put in a 7?
Why not? That's for life path.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Year of her birth? Yeah, her life path is based on year, month, and day. So just give her a 7. And then
7?
Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, and I put that one.
7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just write in 7 on that bottom one.
On the bottom, just make 7.
Mm-hmm. Then 8.
Got this part.
Then 9. Then 1. 2, 3, 4. Okay, everybody got that? And that is a very important number. In the particular year or at the particular age, that number is going to be giving you that energy. The energy that's in that column you get that year. Okay? Got it? Now we're going to give you your essences. And this is crazy a little bit, so please pay attention. This is the way it's done. We picked her name because it has letters that have a low number. She had an S, so I write the letter in very small and then write the number in large. I write the letter even smaller than that, but that's so you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay? So for her first name, she has an S, which is a 1, so you write it once. And then she has a U, which has a value of 3. You don't need to write the letter. Actually,
Well, I did only keep track of it.
right. But actually, when I write it, just so I'll know what I'm doing, I don't write the letter in the other times.
So you write 3 U's since that's
Mm-hmm. You read 3 3s, 1 U.
Oh, yeah.
This becomes important right here. In letters where you have double letters or the same number for things.
Right.
All right. Because you see,
Double E, yeah, the double E.
but I'll write the letter in each time it occurs. So it's easier not to lose track of how many you're writing. That's all.
In this particular case, I was just
Right, well, I
You
know.
did.
Well, you're keeping track of it by doing it, I understand, it makes perfect sense. Okay? Does everybody understand what I just said now? I hope. By the way, the one that has this little line is the most advanced one. I believe. It just shows. Oh.
Can you repeat that again?
And you keep repeating that name over and over and over.
On the first name.
The first name on the first line, you repeat all the way to the end. We're not going to have you do it for right now. I'm going to show you what you're doing first, okay?
I'm lost.
All right.
Okay.
Show her. She wrote
You.
U 3 times because that's the
Three
value.
times.
Three times. The letter E 5
1, 2,
times.
3, 4, 5.
Yes, she starts again with the first name because that's the end of her name.
Okay, so you write the value of the letter.
The number of times.
It is the value.
That's right. A 9, you write 9 times.
That's why we didn't
My
give
first
you-
name has 2 R's in it.
Yeah, that's why we didn't use her name.
So I have 18 R's at the end. 18
Because I'm
lines in a
still
row.
putting it up here.
But we want to be able to show you how this goes. The second line is for your second birth name,
As it appears on me.
as it appears on the birth certificate. The third name is usually your family name, but occasionally you have 4 names. And you may have to make your own chart because you may end up with 7 names. But the thing is, you want a line for each name you have.
Well, I'm going to say, like in the case of, this was her birth name.
Right.
Then if she got
We're
confirmed.
going to get there.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
confirmation
I didn't
names count?
Yes, you can put
Confirmation
down,
name.
yes, actually, I would do it with it and without it. I mean, I would do it both ways to see what happens. I do a lot of I would use these charts and just make a lot of them. Yes, but you start it in the year in which she's confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you have a married name, you start it in the year in which you're married. If you get divorced, you may drop the name, but if you've had a child, you may want to both keep it and drop it because having that child with you brings in an awful lot of energy from that influence. Anytime for some reason you get a new name, including the second birth certificate, that's when you begin adding that new name. Okay? Since you don't use your confirmation number that much, confirmation name that much, you may want to, that's why I say you might want to see what happens with it and what happens without it. You want to see how much it really contributes. Now, have you all gotten all of your names in there for the first few?
Yeah, you did.
Well, I don't want you to get all the way across, but I want you to show you what you do with them.
Hang on, do we want to, okay.
And this is a place you absolutely drop 9s. You don't want a large number when you come to what you're doing with these numbers. You want to reduce it to a single digit, always. No 11s, no 22s, only single digits on what you do with these. When you have all of your names on at least one line for at least 10 squares,
I can't count.
well, approximately.
You did that.
Then you are going to add together the numbers of your names, nothing else, not the personal year, and certainly not those 2 reference numbers up at the top. But you are going to add together the numbers from your names, which in her case is a 1, a 3, and a 1, and gives her down there in the essence thing a 5. Then she has 3 plus 3 plus 4, which is 10, which is 1.
Are you adding in the age of the child?
What?
Are you adding in like a 1?
No,
just
no.
the
The
name.
top two lines are reference number only. Do not add them, do not add the bottom line.
Okay.
Then, actually, 5 and 4 is 9, so the number is 3. It's the easiest way to see it.
Okay.
And it hasn't changed, and that's 5. 5 and 4 is 9, and you're left with a 5.
Hang on.
That is what?
5 and 5 and 1 is
11, which is 2.
right here, that's 5.
Here. All right.
5.
Wait a minute now.
No, it's right. 5.
But this is a 2. 10 plus 1 is 11.
is a 2, okay.
I know, that's why
That's,
And if you get a 9, that's the last number you have to use a 9. For instance, she had a 5 plus a 3 plus a 1, that's a 9, so that is a 9. You don't ever reduce the last 9 when you're reducing, okay? If it's the last number there, you keep it.
I want to really get her married here.
We're getting her married now. What's her married name?
Stevens.
Alright.
Your hand.
Okay.
What do you want here?
Yep, I'm picking up her married name there. I'll leave you a little erase. It's easier to erase small.
Yes.
And I'll get all the chalk dust off of here so they keep letting us have the room. Do you all understand what you do with those numbers now?
yes.
All right. Your essence number is an energy that is brought into you during that year or years. One of the ways after you're all through doing your chart, I recommend getting 2 pencils or some kind of marker that you can see that doesn't obliterate anything. And then this is what I did with mine.
I've got some colored chart chalk, so.
any year in which you have an A, a J, or an S, circle it. Okay? That's where you have a 1 in your essence. And any time that this essence number down here changes, draw a line showing there's a, see, in my case, I had a 1 this year, and this particular thing only stayed for 1 year. And then for 3 years, I kept the same essence number, and then I changed it and changed it again. The first time I changed it because of the 1, but the second time it was through the combination.
Oh, so you're looking through the essence numbers to find your ones?
Yes.
And then looking up above to find your ones?
No, A, J, and S, or anytime you have the 1 in there.
Right.
But anytime the essence number at the bottom that is derived from all the essence numbers changes, that's when you draw that line down, showing there was a change in essence number.
That's when you draw a line down.
And that shows you that these periods of time, you were running with the same essence number during that period of growth, and then all kinds of things. Right there. Right? 1, and that, and then it was you. No, don't draw the circle around the 1 there. It's only when the 1s are up in the name. Yes, we're going to use the colored chalk now to show you what we do, okay? Okay, well, when I get to that one, I'll bring some. That's all right. We'll use colored chalk and show them 2 different things, okay? Whenever you have a 1 in the essences up here, sometimes the essence number at the bottom changes, but something else. I don't know. I think those sometimes sometimes this essence number down at the bottom stays the same because of a change in letters up here, but you still have this 1. And that's why you circle it. Because you want to know when you have a number here that gives you a 1-year essence, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Now you can use your blue if you want. Which blue do you have? Oh, I have purple, whatever. Now she showed you here, the lines coming down are when this essence number changes.
And I'm getting to a good one here. Because this one actually changes, doesn't change for 3 years.
Okay? You see this? Can you see this line that she's drawn?
In other words, here I have, let's find something that
You can see it this way. Shows up very well.
okay.
It's not a matter of white. It's the color back there. It's harder to see this.
Right.
You see how this shows you each time you have a change down here. This change occurred because of a 1. This change occurred because of a change in all of the numbers.
Here's one here. This might show you just as easily. I can get a different color. Use the red. Use this one. Because this is one, although this happens to all be 1. That's a nice wide one.
Yeah, but those ones don't get circled.
I know, I haven't got those erased yet. That's how I'm also able to stop them.
Anyway, the reason you draw the lines in the circles is the circles show you wherever you have a letter, it gives you a short-term essence. And the lines show you when the essence itself changes.
Well, she changes a lot.
Yeah. She changes a lot. Whereas, can I have mine back? Whereas you can see, during the first part of my life, that was a short term, and that one, and then there was a really long one. A short one, and another long one. When you have a lot of nines, it frequently causes you to have longer spells. Your life isn't as changeable.
It's stuck in a rut.
That's the way mine works. Alright, I'll show you. And this is the way, once you get all those, you can see wherever you have this one.
Put these on the computer and actually make a little.
But this also shows you, I went for a number of years, and then a lot of years, where I was keeping the same essence. And then after a brief change, I went to a different essence. But I can look at my age and see what was going on in my age. Was I going into high school? Was I getting ready for college? Where did these different things happen? Anyway, that's about all I have to share with you. Hey, it came out at 9 o'clock.
If we just took the names off, the written part off, that would be real confusing for somebody coming in. Oh! I thought I'd leave it for some chemistry student and then try to see if they could come up with some sort of.
If you want to leave the one over on the right, you can leave it, but not the all red. Then you can just erase year, day, and month, and let them figure out what all those are around on that one.
That one there was really looked like it's some sort of chemical something.
Yes, I know. Particularly with broken lines below and solid lines above.
Okay, and I'm going to use some, hopefully you have some Kanjang with you. Try to get down to erasing this board.
I'm going to erase one of my first. Anybody going to join us for steak? You going to join us, Mary?
I'm going to join you, but I'm not sure for what.
Okay. You going home? Are you going to join us?
Oh, careful.
Damn!
Oh, wow, again.
Oh, man, no, that wasn't what hurt.
What? What?
I'm twisting my, I'm not sure what I hurt. Twisting my ankle, I think. That was good. That took a lot of coordination.
You want to help? There you go. She doesn't want to help.
I can't figure out what the heck's going on. Before
You're thinking about Kang Jennings.
No, I forgot where the step was.
I know, that's what I said.
Just didn't, I've been watching it and just didn't look down. Okay, let me see what's going on.
And you do have your scarf with you, so you can take it from your neck and put it around your body.
Okay. I think I got turned enough. I was afraid I wasn't going to get turned enough that I was going to get up like a straight flat straight on my back.
Well, you wanted to see the doctor tomorrow anyway, didn't you? No, I'm going to have to drive you to the doctor.
Okay. What's hurt? Maybe. I suspect I probably did something in my ankle. I think I twisted the ankle. And so far, not too bad. Knocked the wind out of me.
Scared the devil out of us.
Yeah. Okay.